Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to one of the University of Vermont's most honored traditions. I'm Shane Jacobson, President and CEO of the University of Vermont Foundation. Today we are pleased to recognize an outstanding faculty member, Dr. Chung Wong, who is being appointed as the inaugural Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams Endowed Professor. We have a number of special guests with us this morning who I'd like to introduce, certainly members of the Williams and Pi-Sunyer families. If you could please stand and rise to be recognized. Larry, I think this is darn near a family reunion here. This is great. I'd like to welcome the CEO of the UVM Health Network, Dr. John Brumstead. Welcome, John. And as we move through the program, it should not be lost how important John and the UVM Medical Center have been in partnering and collaborating to make this possible, so thank you. The CEO of the UVM group, Claude Duchamp. Claude, welcome. And several leaders from across academic health sciences, thank you for being with us here today. The professorship that we are inaugurating here in the Larner College of Medicine honors a remarkable woman, Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams. Berta was from a family of healthcare providers, so it's not so surprising that she graduated from UVM in 1958 with a degree in nursing. And like many of our graduates, she answered her calling right next door at the Medical Center Hospital of Vermont, now, of course, the UVM Medical Center. She made her career there, distinguishing herself as a nurse in service to her community. After Berta's untimely passing in 1992, her family began to reflect upon her life and upon the remarkable strength and courage with which she faced her own illness. In 1996, they memorialized her by establishing the Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams Endowment at the Medical Center. This fund was dedicated to benefiting women in the region by providing support for education, research, and patient services related to women's health. Eventually, a more focused vision began to take shape in the Department of Obstetrics, Gynecology, and Reproductive Services. The hope was to convert the existing endowment into the Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams Endowed Professorship. Luckily, this vision was matched by the amazing spirit of Berta's friends and the Williams and Pi-Sunyer families. Thanks to their renewed generosity, we are here today honoring Berta once again and opening a new chapter for the fund that bears her name. Both the Larner College of Medicine and the University of Vermont Medical Center enjoy a rich tradition of philanthropic support. And for the past several years, our foundations have worked diligently together to become more and more collaborative and integrated. The reason for this is frankly quite evident today. By working in partnership, we can better serve our donors, honor their loved ones, and advance medical training and care in this community. It has been 5 years since the University of Vermont and the UVM Foundation started the now revered tradition of paying special tribute to outstanding scholars, researchers, teachers, and clinicians who serve as endowed professors and chairs. Appointments, which are made through the Office of the Provost, are based on nominations from faculty peers. We are fortunate that today's ceremony allows us to celebrate another esteemed faculty member, Dr. Chung Wong. In doing so, we adopt a symbolic tradition dating back to the Middle Ages, where early European universities honored their scholars with elaborate rites of investiture. At UVM, these ceremonies acknowledge and celebrate the stature of the newly endowed faculty position and the significant accomplishments of promising future of the recipient. This is one of the highest honors the University of Vermont can bestow upon a member of our faculty, officially recognizing and celebrating academic achievements and further encouraging research, scholarship, and clinical excellence. We are proud to recognize an outstanding faculty member in the Larner College of Medicine and to welcome him to the growing ranks of UVM endowed professors and chairs. Today's guest of honor, Dr. Wong, will be presented with a medallion that signifies this distinction, which we hope will be worn with his academic regalia at commencement and other official university functions. You can also wear it every day of the week if you want. At this time, it's my great pleasure to introduce UVM President Tom Sullivan, who has successfully championed the Move Mountains campaign and prioritized the goal of significantly increasing the number of endowed professorships at the University of Vermont. Please join me in welcoming President Sullivan.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Shane. This is a very happy day at the University of Vermont. I was just thinking as I was listening to Shane's beautiful introduction of the program today. My wife Leslie and I, Leslie with me here this morning, we have just come from the celebration of the 75th anniversary of the Department of Nursing in the College of Nursing moments ago. And to see the life cycles here of Mrs. Williams graduating from the nursing school and of course coming over here today to recognize the importance of the Williams Endowed Professorship. So it is a very happy occasion for us this morning to see those connections from nursing to medicine to thanking the Williams family for all of their wonderful generosity, and of course to celebrate, as Shane just said, the importance of recognizing distinguished faculty through endowed chairs and professorships. We have had, as Shane said, the opportunity in the last 6 years or so to really put a spotlight on the importance of supporting, recruiting, and recognizing excellence among our faculty at the university. And today we are here at the medical school, the Larner College of Medicine, to be able to participate in this wonderful recognition of Dr. Wong. We have in those short 6-year time frames more than doubled the number of endowed chairs at the university from 52 to now I think 110. Our goal was to double that in this campaign. If you followed the math, we've already accomplished that. Shane gets a little uneasy when I said, and Shane, we're going way over, why not triple that number? Well, in today's celebration, we can really underscore the importance. The endowed professorship that we recognize today, the Williams Professorship, signifies the highest quality and attainment of stature in one's profession by one's peers. And it, for us at the University of Vermont, is like a magnetic attraction. And by that I mean we in the academy know that receiving an endowed professorship or chair is really the most important accolade we can receive. It gives us at the university the opportunity to attract, to retain, to recognize, to reward the top talent in one's field. That is as important as it can be, I think, at any great university. Today we recognize Dr. Wong for his exceptional contributions, past, present, and of course the aspirations for even more greatness in the future. Dr. Wong really embraces all of the characteristics that Shane shared a moment ago about the importance of an endowed faculty position, in this case here at the University of Vermont. He is renowned for his teaching, his scholarship, his clinical care with patients in gynecological cancer. A dedicated teacher, an award-winning teacher, I think some 15 different teaching awards, and of course his research specialty in gynecological cancer. Today we recognize him and his faculty who are with him today. His contributions at the university go back a number of years. I won't go through all of them, but I know in 2003 he was instrumental here at the medical school and at the medical center, launching the Eleanor Daniels Fund, which was underwriting successful programs to educate the general public about the devastating consequences of gynecological cancer. And this, of course, is what we celebrate today as well. his path-breaking contributions through teaching, clinical application, scholarship, and research. And of course, the dedicated patient care that he has given to so many of his patients and their families. So today we recognize a marvelous individual, a great teacher, a wonderful mentor to students, a terrific colleague to his faculty members, and to the important field that he is researching, teaching, and studying, gynecological cancer. Dr. Wong, you are an inspiration for all of us, for your tireless efforts on behalf of women and gynecological cancers and their well-being. You have been inspiring to patients, their families, to your colleagues in the medical profession, and to the nurses that help support so well all of these medical endeavors. And we know that much of this is about the science and the art, and as we like to say here at the university, and the heart of producing the very best medical care for patients through great path-breaking bench sciences, the translational application of that science right down to the patient's bedside. So today we recognize Dr. Wong for his outstanding accomplishments as an educator, a researcher, a clinician, and a doctor who cares deeply about his patients. I would ask Dr. and Dean Rick Morin to join me, who will make the formal presentation of the endowed professorship for Dr. Wong. Rick, please.
Thank you, Tom. And I am pleased to be able to take part in this ceremonial tradition at the University of Vermont. And it's my great pleasure to formally invest Dr. Wong as the inaugural Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams Endowed Professor. Now, Dr. Wong, will you please come forward? Professor Chung Wong is an outstanding teacher, scholar, investigator, and clinician whose work has brought great distinction to the Robert Larner, MD, College of Medicine at the University of Vermont and his exceptional care of women in our region. As Vice Chair of Gynecology, Director of Gynecologic Oncology and Urogynecology, and Associate Professor in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology and Reproductive Sciences, Dr. Wong works to ensure that every patient is given the care they need and deserve, and that every learner is offered the knowledge and experience they need to provide such care. As Associate Dean of Continuing Medical and Interprofessional Education for the Larner College of Medicine, Dr. Wong has spearheaded major improvements in our continuing education program. Under his leadership, we have received national recognition and certification of our success in providing continuing medical education for the full spectrum of healthcare providers, a real serious advance in our abilities here. As Associate Vice President of Clinical Affairs for the University of Vermont Health Network, Dr. Wong has continued to prove himself a focused and balanced leader who is committed to fostering collaboration and partnership within and across traditional clinical boundaries. As a dedicated teacher, mentor, investigator, and leader, Dr. Wong is helping ensure that future generations will be better equipped and better able to provide effective medical care for women and their communities. Dr. Chung Wong, the inaugural Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams Endowed Professor, we honor you today with this medallion, which serves as an enduring symbol of the excellence that you and other endowed faculty like you across the campus strive to achieve in all aspects of their professional life.
Thank you. So over 50 years ago, my parents came to this country not speaking a word of English and both of them spent their entire lives working in the sweatshop factories of New York City. My mother, who had only a 8th grade education from China, had but one dream, and it was that I would never follow in their footsteps and work in the factories of New York City. When I was young, seeing a doctor was a luxury for my parents because it was something that they could not afford. Seeing what my family and my community had experienced, I had but one dream: to become a doctor one day to make a difference in people's lives. Today, I humbly stand before you as a recipient of the Berta Pi-Sunyer Williams Endowed Professor. However, the recognition today is not so much about me, but it's more about the people who have supported me to this point, and I would like to recognize them. First and foremost, I would like to thank my mother, who unfortunately could not be here today. Despite all the challenges that she experienced, her strength, resilience has shaped who I am today. When I was young, I always struggled to find the perfect gift to recognize her for everything that she has done for me. So when I graduated from college, I gave her my Phi Beta Kappa Honor Society pin in recognition of all that she has done. Today, I will surely share this medallion with her also, because she deserves it. I would like to thank my wife, Sally, for her generous support and her unconditional support of me. Fortunately, Sally has never asked me to make a choice between my job as a physician and our family. Instead, when we moved to Vermont, she put her own career on hold so that she could be a full-time mother at home with our kids. And when I compare my job as a physician and her job as a stay-at-home mom, I know hands down that she had a much more difficult job. I would like to thank my kids, William and Anne, for all their support and understanding. I publicly apologize for missing so many of your childhood events because of work. I hope you guys know that I love you very much. I would like to thank Dr. Phil Mead, who was my first chair in this department of OBGYN. Back in the year 2000, I was experiencing my own professional challenges, and Dr. Mead invited and recruited me to the UVM family. I am forever grateful for Dr. Mead's efforts and am very thankful to him. I would like to thank Dean Morin for his leadership in the medical school and for allowing me the opportunity to grow as a leader in this medical school. I would also like to thank Dr. Ira Bernstein, who is my current chair. In the past 18 years, Dr. Bernstein has evolved from being my colleague to being my mentor and friend. Dr. Bernstein is perhaps the most thoughtful leader that I know. His generosity, fairness, and genuine concern for his faculty are inspirational. Finally, I would like to thank the Williams and Pi-Sunyer family. For over 2 decades, your generous donation has impacted the lives of faculty, residents, medical students, and more importantly, patients of our department. I would like to call Larry Williams, Jr. to the stage. With much gratitude to the Williams and Pi-Sunyer families for their generosity, it is my honor to present to you with a matching medallion as a reminder of the impact of this visionary endowed position.
Good morning, and thanks for coming. On behalf of my father, my sister Francie, Carolyn, my brother Tim, and all of the Pi-Sunyer family and Williams families here, I want to congratulate Dr. Wong on your naming. I will say that I only heard your name for the first time a couple months ago, but since then, I've heard from numerous reliable sources what a wonderful doctor you are. And I will say that it only honors our mother all the more that you've been named. So thank you and congratulations. Now, my Uncle Xavier, my mother's older brother, is going to come up and say a few words in a few minutes. But before I release the mic, I have a couple things I want to share. One, to give you a little bit of background on where and how this endowment started, and then to give you just a glimpse or two into who who my mother was. She died a little over 26 years ago, and prior to her death, just before she died, I think she had a lot of conversations with my father about what she saw for the future. One of those was the idea that she wanted to make a contribution to the hospital, a place where that she had worked as a nurse for many years and that had cared for her when she was ill. My father followed through on that wish not long after she died and started a fund in her name, and he had help from the Pi-Sunyer family and from other dear friends to make that happen. Over the years, the medical center provided great stewardship of that fund, and it grew nicely until a couple years ago, or I think it was not even a year ago, Kevin approached the family with the idea of trying to get to the endowed level. And once again, with the help of and leadership of our father and our Pi-Sunyer and Williams family and other friends, we were able to reach that goal. I want to call out one person in particular, our family friend Doug Nettie. I think Doug's here somewhere. Doug was a childhood best friend of my brother's, longtime friend of the family. His mother died when he was very young. He ended up spending a lot of time at our house. I think our mother was, in a way, a mother to him. He found out what we were doing and made an unsolicited gift to our effort that put us over the top. So that was a wonderful surprise and a wonderful testament to his relationship with our mother. So Doug, thank you. Now I'd like to give you a glimpse into our mother. My father got back into town a couple weeks ago, and he came back with some health issues. One of the results of that was that his memory wasn't that good. When I sat down with him a couple weeks ago, I said, "Hey, Dad, I'm going to say a few things about Mom. What would you like me to say?" Really a remarkable thing happened. His eyes got bright. His voice, at a time when it hadn't been clear, got very clear. And he said, he talked about how much he loved our mother, how caring and compassionate she was, and how she would do anything for anyone, anywhere. And he gave me a couple of examples. There was a family who had a young son who had cancer, and at the time, they were taking him to Philadelphia for treatment. And the mother of this son would call up, and my mother would hop in the car and drive with them to Philadelphia just to be with her. There was another couple. The husband had cancer. And as he was dying, I remember this, my mother spent a lot of time with them, taking care of him, but also providing comfort to his wife. There's many more stories. Those are just a couple. And I'd be done now, ordinarily, but the other day we got a letter from a cousin of my mother's who lives in Mexico, Tona. This is a woman who with her family and with my mother's family fled Spain early in the Civil War. They ended up for a while in Mexico, and this woman still lives in Mexico. And she wrote of how those early adventures, those early happy times and sad times, bonded them like sisters. And she gave us really an homage to my mother. I think she wanted me to read it, but it's about 6 pages long, so I'm not going to do that. But I will share the last sentence, because I think it sums up things pretty well. And what she said was, "It gives me enormous joy to know that her name will live on through this professorship, and may her extraordinary spirit inspire all of those who earn it." And I think we couldn't agree more. So, thank you.
Hello, my name is Xavier. I'm Berta's brother. I'm one of 5 siblings, and with respect to all of them, we want to congratulate Dr. Wang, who we feel is an excellent candidate to receive this chair. I'm going to say a few words about the family and about Berta on behalf of the siblings. So I'm honored to speak about Berta and her place in our family. She was the 3rd child and the 1st daughter of James and Mercedes Pi-Sunyer. Our parents were political exiles from Franco Spain. They left Barcelona after the fascists won the Civil War in 1939, excuse me. We went first to France, and then as the German invasion came, we went to Mexico, and then in 1945 came to the United States. I have a photograph of Berta and me in the University Plaza in Barcelona. She must have been 2 years old, and I 4, walking hand in hand happily there, together, unaware of what the future would hold for us. I have a recollection of her in Mexico, a vivacious and energetic girl with bright, expressive eyes and with a very independent sense of self and very strong will. She was a person who very early in her life knew her own mind, and while sensitive to others, made sure that her views were heard. But my first really strong recollection of her is from 1944, when she was 7 and I was 9, and we had just arrived in New Jersey, speaking no English and very disoriented about our move. On our first day in school, my parents left us, the 3 oldest, James, Berta, and me, with the principal, who took us each to our respective classrooms. I had been in mine for a couple of hours. When the principal came in and asked me to leave with him, Berta was sitting despondently with teary eyes, having been sick to her stomach. I didn't ask her what was wrong because I knew that she was anxious at not belonging, at not being part of the group, at not being able to relate to others, at feeling alone and unconnected. Why? Because Berta's strength and virtue always lay in her connections to others, in her vigorous involvement in life, in her energetic grasp of the world around her, in her quiet but efficient take-charge manner, in her confident but unobtrusive belief, in her ability to make a difference. She soon learned the language, found friends, easily integrated herself in her new life, and never looked back. After high school, Berta opted to join the 5-year BSRN program here at UVM. This reflected 2 goals. First, obtaining a liberal arts degree education, which my father was very pushy for her getting, and also embarking on a medical career in which she was very interested. Let me just digress a moment to a very rapid survey of my parents' family. Both of from the maternal side and the paternal side, came from people of the Empordà, which is in the northeastern part of Catalonia, bordering on the French border. So we are Catalans. You hear a lot about Catalonia today in the news. Our mother's families were landowners, and my father's families were mostly doctors, lawyers, and politicians. In fact, I am the 7th generation physician in my family. So medicine was high on the list of interests. Our great-grandfather was professor of pathology at the University of Barcelona. Our grandfather was professor and chair of physiology at the University of Barcelona. And our father had just been named professor in the Spanish medical system when the Spanish Civil War broke out. So that medicine has always been a strong avocation in the family. I may have turned Berta's aspirations in that direction. But back to Spain, politics was everyone's preoccupation. The family's politics were Republican with a small r, liberal and democratic, anti-monarchical, anti-fascist. Family members were senators, mayors, and ministers, staunchly defending the Spanish Republic from the fascists. When the war was lost, many had to flee the country for safety and to survive. Our father always said to us that he was not a temporary refugee, but that he was an immigrant. He thus made it clear to us children that we were in the United States to stay. As a result, we did not grow up with the thought of when we would be returning to the native land. Berta warmed to this and became thoroughly American very quickly. Aside from her peculiar name, and no one who met her would think she was anything but a native, and she liked that. When she went to UVM, she was a popular and happy student and made many friends whom she retained throughout her life, and many of them are here. She met Larry here, and when he asked her to marry him on the condition that she agree to remain in Vermont for the rest of their lives, she readily agreed. They started with not much money, but were hardworking and thrifty. She enjoyed her nursing here at the university very much, and her contact with patients was always compassionate and respectful. She regrettably gave up nursing when family enterprises grew too large for Larry alone. They had 4 wonderful children and many grandchildren. She always helped friends, did community good works, and was kind to her many employees. She was a churchgoer and a believer. She was basically a happy and rather uncomplicated person. No dark brooding or existential angst. Much more a feeling of not questioning the meaning of life, but living it to the full. She was content in her faith. She enjoyed good humor, a good tale, relaxation, and fun. Her answer to the existential question of why are we here was to assume that we have been put on earth to do what we can in our own small but important way to make life a humane enterprise for all. She had many years of happiness ahead of her. But of course, perilous fate got in that way. Berta developed cancer that was tardily diagnosed, and after a difficult struggle, she died at the age of 56. This brought heartache to all of us. We loved her, we respected her, we admired her. She was taken away too early, a terrible blow both to her and to those she left behind. Honoring and remembering Berta is good, and now doing it with this endowment to a medical establishment is an excellent tribute for her. May the holders of her chair, beginning with Dr. Wong, remember her by following her example of compassion and care for the sick. Thank you very much.
Wow. Larry, I think we're quite thankful that you agreed to stay in Vermont. Thank you. Xavier, wonderful words. 7 generations. 7 generations of healthcare providers. Wow. And Larry, I didn't think I would need to bring Kleenex here today, so those were very powerful words. And as I heard some sniffles going around me. I know those were certainly tears of sorrow and loss, but also tears of joy and celebration, and knowing that your family's name and legacy lives on forever through this effort. So we want to thank the Williams family, the Pi-Sunyer families. We congratulate Dr. Wong on this tremendous recognition, and we will take pride in his work and, quite frankly, the work of our faculty and our clinicians as they teach, as they do research, and as they solve major dilemmas in our healthcare and society. We're grateful that you attended today, provided us with your time to celebrate this investiture ceremony. This formally concludes the program. Please enjoy drinks and dessert, pre-dinner dessert, pre-lunch dessert. Thank you once again.